Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
I almost forgot to come in there. I was like,
thinking to myself, I'm
waiting.
so glad Jason does this, because I would have just sat here bobbing my head to the music until it stopped playing.
I kept doing that too. I was bobbing my head a little bit to this one for some reason.
And you were a couple seconds.
I was late. I was like, wait a minute. I better say, I'm supposed to say something here.
Stone dude should not podcast. I think that's what they say.
Today we're talking about Eating Raoul.
Eating Raoul.
Eating Raoul, released March 24th, 1982. Rated R. An hour and 23 minutes.
This was a quickie. This could have been a TV show with a few cuts.
If you fell asleep...
It was the length of an Orville episode.
Did you talk to my wife?
If you fell asleep, I might have heard something today. I may have asked about something. And yeah, if you fell asleep, you may have missed this movie. But no, it's a short one. It was quick, which is good. Hint at my score.
I have to agree with you on that.
All right, Brian. No, all right, Brian. What am I doing? Who am I doing? Who am I?
Who are you? All right, Brian.
All right, Brian.
Oh, is that
Spicoli.
Fast Times?
It was directed by Paul Bartle. He was also the star
And the writer.
and the writer. This guy, he was a jack of all of them.
He's a
He
jack of
jacked
something.
His top four actually were Eating Raoul, Scenes from the Class Struggle from Beverly Hills, The Usual Suspects, and Death Race 2000.
I saw that he was in Usual Suspects. I don't remember him in it. And he, like, as soon as I saw him, I was like, I know this guy from something.
He's a character.
And I looked up his.
What did you know
film.
him from?
I don't know.
Probably you've seen him in a bunch of things,
but it's definitely not.
But it's
Rock
been,
World.
but not. No, I'm not saying that's one of the things you saw him in. You saw him in this. You saw him in a couple other things, probably that maybe.
I feel like he's like a
character actor,
part-time player on like
definitely a character
MASH
obnoxious
or something like that.
snob,
Yeah.
you know.
He just seemed to be like, I was like, oh, I know this guy, and then never placed what I know him from.
He died young, 61 in the year 2000. It was a heart attack after being diagnosed with liver cancer. I don't know if it happened immediately after, but that's how it was.
You have liver cancer. Ugh.
That's how it's listed. Doesn't it seem weird to have it listed that way? A heart attack after being diagnosed with liver cancer.
He had it in the.
It seems
in
like
the
it's
doctor's
sudden,
office.
right?
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Do you think the doctor was like looking over him? He's like, well, I guess we don't have to treat him now. Like, eh.
He was 61. when he
Sometimes
passed.
patients
Yeah.
just solve their own problems.
Again, I have two IMDb descriptions. The first one is just a quick sentence, and it's a relatively boring Los Angeles couple discovers a bizarre, if not murderous, way to get funding for opening a restaurant. That's the quick sentence, and this is a quick little more. It's a paragraph. This is when Paul enters his apartment to find Mary fighting off a swinger who has gotten into the wrong apartment and thinks that Mary is just playing hard to get. He hits the man with a frying pan, killing him. Their dreams of running a small restaurant seem to be in jeopardy until they decide to dispose of the body, keep the wallet, and to advertise. How do you say that, Brian?
Advertise.
Advertisement is what I was going for, but I don't know how to say the yeah.
Advertisement.
So, and to advertise for other sexually oriented visitors who are summarily killed, bagged, robbed, and disposed of. This goes along quite well until one night a burglar named Raoul breaks in and cuts himself in for a piece of the
not
action.
a description of the movie. That is the fucking plot in the. That's everything about the movie.
Should I not read that then?
No. I mean, obviously, if you're listening to this, you've either watched the movie or you don't care. But like, that's if you saw that description, you'd be like, well, now I don't have to watch it. I know everything. The only thing you don't know is why do they eat Raoul? And spoiler alert, they do. But
but no, I thought that first sentence isn't enough. The second paragraph is too much.
No way. That's crazy.
There has to be something in the middle, but I can't find it.
So he wrote this and starred in it and directed it, and his wife. I don't know. I don't want to
how many did they say? No, go ahead. I didn't get this.
18 television shows and movies together.
Really?
Because when I was looking them up, I'm
They're
like,
married.
Why do
Oh, they were married in real life?
I don't think they were. Because
I thought you said they were together. Didn't you say they were married?
Gay. He was.
Oh,
he
no,
was
I'm sorry.
out. He was gay and out.
He was gay and out. That's what I meant to say.
But
apologize.
I mean, they said that like he came out really young.
They were just partners, probably.
Yeah,
and, work partners.
They were in Rock and Roll High School together. They were in Death Race 2000. They were in that class struggle in Beverly Hills and stuff like that. So every time I looked up one of them, I'd see all these titles, and then I'd look up the other one and see all these. I'm like, why do I keep seeing these same names over and over again? And it was because they did 18 things together. So
that's pretty. I thought that's pretty cool.
I guess. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if she was his muse anyway, and he wrote things for her. Like a lot of them were like they were in like one episode of whatever, Cagney and Lacey together, and just didn't even appear in the same scene, but they were in the same episode. So
they were on the set together, probably working together or whatever.
Like, I'm not on this movie unless she's on this movie. So
horrendous actors, by the way.
Oh, there was
man, there was no good actors. Even the actors that you know are good actors weren't good in this.
Oh yeah,
there was no good acting in there except maybe you saw that a younger version of that somebody could be a good actor later in life. You could see something.
I didn't see that, and I know who you're talking about, and I didn't see that.
Well, no, I'm not talking about a him. I'm talking about a her.
Oh,
we got to figure Paul Bartel is not a good actor, so when he was directing, he's not going to get great performances from people because he thinks that he's a good actor.
Good actor.
And she, her name
Mary Warrenoff.
She's like a Roger Corman girl. She was in like shitty B movies and stuff like that. So,
but she was also in Night of the Comet.
Okay.
Death Race 2000, which you mentioned earlier. Eating Raoul, Rock Roll High School. Those are her top four. Okay. Yeah.
And she was pretty sexy when Raoul was eating her out.
Michelle walked through, and she's like, "Is that a guy?" I'm like, "That's the main girl," and she's like, "She is not attractive." But it's weird. Like sometimes the lighting did not do her any favors. Like, I kept thinking she looked like Kathleen Turner.
I thought the same thing
at that time. Kathleen Turner was smoking hot. That's like Romancing the Stone era. Kathleen Turner. So
I thought she looked like that as well.
So every once in a while, I'd be like, what's Michelle thinking?
But then it's funny. Kathleen Turner plays like a
guy in Dumber or something.
No, it's Joey's dad on.
Oh right, on Friends. Yes, Viva Las Vegas.
Not Joey's. Chandler's dad. Yeah.
But I think in Dumb and Dumber, the sequel.
Oh, the sequel. I don't think I saw that.
I mean, she plays Kathleen. She plays a girl, but they're always like mistaking her for a man and stuff like that, or something. I saw that movie one time.
She does have that deep voice.
Yeah.
I mean,
and she doesn't look like Romancing the Stone Kathleen Turner anymore. Neither do I. I'd like to go on record as saying, whatever age I was, I think 83.
She's still alive though, Mary Warrenoff.
Yeah,
Mary Bland.
Still working too. Like she's doing stuff now.
I saw some stuff in production for her. Yeah, playing Raul Mendoza was Robert Beltran. You know him from something. Brian.
Star Trek.
Yep, Star Trek Voyager.
I never watched Star Trek Voyager. Like I saw that name and I was just like, I don't even know what that.
He was like an
is.
American Indian, right?
Who was the lead in that?
That's the Captain Janeway one. So it was the woman that was the captain, and they got like thrown like to another quadrant that they couldn't just like warp speed back. So it was like
it was going to take them 300
kind of like a
years
Lost
to
in
get
Space
back.
or something like that kind of premise. But I never ever watched.
He was also in with Mary Warrenoff. He was in Night of the Comet.
Oh wow! So this was like
it was like a reunion
earlier than this. Was this a reunion for all of them?
I think
Night of the Bartel show.
Night of the Comet was right before this or right after this. I'm not sure when that came out, but if you want to talk real quick, I could look that up.
I'd just like to say that the introduction to this movie was fantastic, where there was the voiceover about the decay of New York City, and they showed a person doing cocaine, sniffing coke off a mirror, and then they showed a guy jerking off to a Hustler magazine. You didn't see his dick in his hands, but he was looking at the Hustler, and you saw his shoulder going up and down. I was like, we are in for a ride with this already. Cocaine and jerking off in 30 seconds. And There was a lot of other stuff going on too. Those are just the ones that stuck out in my mind since my 80s.
He was not.
The 80s, in my opinion, were all about cocaine and jerking off.
Did you know that like Range Rover?
Paul was not in Night of the Comet.
Okay, so it wasn't a Paul Bartney.
It wasn't a Paul Blart.
Bartel.
It wasn't Paul Blart.
It wasn't a Paul Bartel joint. Sorry, what were we talking about?
I said Range Rovers, they have a cocaine mirror in them.
Range Rovers have a cocaine mirror?
What's that even mean?
When you're sitting in the back seat, if you open up the divider, there's like a little mirror like that you pick up.
It comes out.
Yeah.
What was it really made for? Because obviously it wasn't. They didn't say like, "Hey, wouldn't it be good if we had a cocaine mirror in the car?"
I don't know. I think it looks like it's a cocaine mirror.
Interesting.
I mean, I've never done coke, but
I've never been in a Range Rover, so I don't. Backseat.
Yeah, what's a Range Rover?
oh yeah, you've never been. I've been in the back seat.
Yeah, I don't sit in the back seats. People always give me the front seats. Being a fucking fat, tall guy gets you into a lot of front seats.
And playing with the controls that actually control like the drive system. While we're driving on the turnpike,
I do that.
you were punching the buttons. Chris had to yell at you. You had like a screen up, and it was like all the four wheels turning.
What car was this
and
in?
You're like moving stuff around.
Our friend Chris, he got a new car and it had all. Oh, is that when we went to the Giants game?
Yeah.
Is it Tesla or something?
No, it was
Range Rover.
Rover. But yeah, is that how you know about the cocaine mirror? Because of Chris's car?
No.
Was there any residue on that mirror?
I saw it on a YouTube video.
You didn't say Chris's last name here, right? Because you did say cocaine. I mean, I don't want to get Chris in trouble.
We cannot get in trouble.
No,
He would. I mean, no.
this will all get cut out.
But he knows. Oh, why would you cut this out? We're not saying any names.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Fuck that! If you're cutting stuff out, man. This is all
Hey.
gold.
We're talking about Mr. Cray next. He was the liquor store owner. He was Richard Paul.
Yeah, and he's another one of those guys where I'm like,
Character
Seen
actor.
him
I
in
know
a
this
lot of
guy,
stuff again.
but I
Yeah.
couldn't remember anything.
And he died
he
young
did.
too, didn't he?
I have him dying. He died December 25th, 1998. Cancer, 58.
Damn, Christmas Day?
Yeah, Christmas Day.
Ooh, I guess Christmas isn't the same with his family anymore.
That's got to be rough. But his top four consisted of. Did you want to guess any of them? Or
Nah.
I don't think
didn't
you're
look him up or anything like
the
that.
People versus Larry Flint. He was in
okay.
Carter Country. I don't know what that
I don't
was.
know that.
Hail to the Chief. I think that was an old TV show, right?
Okay.
And Murder, She Wrote.
I can
Doesn't
definitely see
everybody
him
get
on
a
Murder,
credit?
She
Doesn't
Wrote.
everybody get a credit on
That's
that
not-
show if you acted in the
I'm not
80s?
sure if he was in multiple episodes or not, but that was his top four. But he was one of those character actors that you've seen in like an episode of
Yeah, I
this
was
or
gonna
an
say like
episode
he's
of
like
that.
Peg Bundy's brother or something like that.
Yeah,
or
probably,
He was a
yeah.
guest surgeon on MASH or
Yep.
something like that. Customer Cheers, one of those guys.
Up next was Mr. Leach. It was Buck Henry. Buck Henry in here.
Only in two scenes.
Yeah,
but
he was very low build. Too.
I was
He wasn't-
actually kind of
wasn't
surprised
too
Buck
high.
Henry wasn't the writer or director of this because this is
I thought he
at
would
the
add
era
something
that
to
Buck
do.
Henry was a big time
Yep,
writer
he
and
was.
director.
Yeah,
and
he was
stuff
doing a
like
lot of that then. Yeah.
Yeah,
And like all men in this movie, he was a masher.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
There were no. This was New York, right?
This is New
there
York,
were
yeah.
no decent people in New York in the 80s.
No.
There might not be any now.
I
but
mean, New
I was
York.
just in New York the other day. There seemed to be a lot of decent
New
people
York in
there.
the 80s was.
Yeah, well, we already saw that in Night Shift. Like, Night Shift made New York City a character in that movie. This, not so much.
No,
But,
yeah, but
I think
you got
the
a little taste of it,
I think the
yeah.
budgets were a little different. They're like, we're going to film this in an apartment 90% of the time.
yep.
But
Buck Henry, though, his top four. Would you be able to get any of his? You think?
I know he was
Saturday
in
Night Live.
Saturday Night Live. Heaven Can Wait.
Heaven Can Wait is in his top
Nice.
four, not
How-
Saturday Night
how
Live,
about,
though, but he
um,
was. That
was he
that
a
good.
writer
'Cause he got
on,
cut by, I think it was the Samurai
yes.
was when
Oh, that's right.
he cut
He'd
him.
go
He
into
actually
Samurai,
got cut.
Belushi. Yeah.
Yeah, Belushi actually cut him with this blade. Yeah,
Damn.
he got.
Was he one of the writers on Doctor Strangelove?
He might
Is that in
have
his credits?
been.
No?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't. I didn't put all of his credits.
Oh, you
I
didn't
just-
put his top four in there?
I have his top four.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
in his top four. He may have done that. Is what
That
I'm
would be in
saying.
his top
Yeah.
four. I'd hope if it was.
But no,
Well-
his top four had The Graduate,
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Get Smart.
Oh, he was definitely a writer on that. Yeah,
You had
okay.
Heaven Can Wait, and he was also in or Grumpy Old Men.
Oh, was he really?
I don't know if he was a
remember him in that.
writer or something for that, possibly too.
Yeah,
But
they had
yeah.
a lot of grumpy old men in that. And he would have been an old man at that point.
Yep, he died in 2020. a heart attack. He was 89.
Yeah, I always liked Buck Henry because he was one of those unassuming kind of
Buck
guys.
Henry was fun. He had some really good stories.
You look
too.
at him and you're like, this guy is
Heard him on a couple of good podcasts.
and then you hear his stories and you're like, oh my god,
he was definitely a fun listen
and he was in
great
the whole
writer.
you know,
that whole
National Lampoon era.
he was in a good spot.
Saturday Night Live group and everything like that. Yeah, good guy, fun.
Playing the hippie was Ed Begley Jr. That was his character, hippie.
Well, she never said his name.
Yeah,
and then he got strangled by his own medallion or whatever was hanging around his neck.
And he was a rapist. He was
yeah,
man, yeah. So
I mean, he was full on, just like
he's lucky he wasn't hippie rapist, or you know what I mean.
He would have never gotten sane elsewhere. So what have you done so far? Hippie rapist. Like, nah, no thank you.
His top 4, you got anything on that, you think?
Sane elsewhere one of his top 4?
Saint Elsewhere is not.
That's ridiculous. How about
how can that not be on?
I know
there?
that's what he's known for.
I know. I don't understand.
How about
that.
Better Call Saul?
Better Call Saul, no.
And I don't even know if I know anything else.
Yeah. So for Ed Begley Jr., they had A Mighty Wind.
Oh, okay. Is he
Pineapple Express. I don't remember. Was he?
Oh,
in?
he
plays
the
himself,
dad.
right?
He's the dad of the girl that Seth Rogen's dating. Yes, he is the dad.
I have to see that again. I don't remember
because he goes there to like tell them they have to hide and stuff like that, and he's already doesn't like Seth Rogen, so he like freaks at him. I think takes him in the car and yells at him and stuff like that. But
Whatever Works. I never heard of that.
Never heard of that.
And the 2016 Ghostbuster. I never.
Oh, that's a woman one?
Yeah.
How the hell is St. Elsewhere not in that?
I don't understand that.
You know what? I never watched St. Elsewhere, but I know that's like where he started and how he started. And
up next is one of my
George
favorite.
Clooney? No. ER.
George Clooney was ER, yeah.
Anthony Edwards, yes.
Up next was Edie Mcclerg.
Yeah. One scene.
Swinger and Fur. Susan, excuse me. Susan, the Swinger and Fur.
As soon as I heard her voice, I'm like, he's a righteous dude.
One of my favorite quotes is hers was she said,
I know exactly exactly the quote. I know it.
You want to say it?
No. Please, you say it, but I know what it is.
We're into B&D, but not S&M. We met at the A&P.
Oh, you meant from this movie, the favorite quote. I thought you meant one of her favorite quotes of all time.
You do that. That's all you.
Well, it's when he's talking about Ferris, and he's like, I wouldn't throw him, whatever he says. And she's like, oh, with your back, Ed, you shouldn't throw anybody. And it's such a great, like, low-key line.
It's like out of nowhere, yeah.
Yeah, she's really great. Yeah, but I kind of stepped over your A&P, S&M. What did she say?
Oh, she said, we're into B&D, but not S&M. We met at the A&P.
So S&M is sadomasochism. B&D is bondage and
discipline. Yeah.
I would have thought that's the same thing as S&M, kind of like.
It usually goes together.
BDSM.
BDSM is usually together. So I guess the joke there was she was into part of it, not into some of it.
She was into the bondage,
that's probably,
but not
I guess,
getting
the joke,
whipped or something like that.
Yeah, I guess that was the joke there. And then the A&P is where they went shopping.
And I was going to say, does anybody under 40 know what an A&P is? I remember we had an A&P in our town.
Yeah, and then it had the same logo as Pathmark. But it had the same logo as Pathmark. A&P and Pathmark had the same logo.
But they were probably owned by the same.
I know, but it was just weird.
They're all owned by the same.
Yeah, they're probably owned by one person now, and they're controlling us all with the food that they sell us. All the hormones they put in the chicken.
Her top 4, do you want to try it or no?
The Jason Bateman one.
Hogan Family. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, but that's a good pull.
Well, Ferris
Bueller
has to be in
Ferris Bueller is on there, yes.
And she was also that same kind of character in Back to School. She was Rodney's secretary.
She's not.
It's not in her top 4.
But that is not in her top 4.
But she's the one taking notes in the class. You tell Mr. Mellon that he will never pass this class.
That's like late 80s, isn't it? 88, maybe?
87, 88, yeah.
It's not soon enough for us to be able to do.
God.
I mean,
dude, I can do it right now. And that's got Adrienne Barbeau in it, too.
Yes, it does.
His wife at the beginning of that movie. So you got
Ferris so far.
Ooh, wow, she is in.
You got one
like Psycho 2 or something like that.
You're close.
Oh,
think of an original Stephen King.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not.
The robot.
No, one word.
Carrie.
Yeah,
she's in Carrie.
She's in Carrie.
Is Sissy Spacek Carrie?
Yeah.
Wow, I don't even remember her being in that.
Yep.
Why were you doing the robot?
Oh, I was just dancing. Yeah.
Jason's got a pee-pee. He's doing the pee-pee dance.
I do have to pee, actually. That's funny that you say that. Yeah.
You want to take a break?
No, I'm good.
Wait, hang on.
Not that
so
bad.
she
Yeah.
was in Carrie, and that's in her top 4. I did not remember her from Carrie at all.
Yeah.
I don't
So we
remember
got
from
Ferris, Carrie.
Give us. I don't think I'm going to.
Then the animated I was talking about is Wreck-It Ralph. She's in.
Ooh, okay.
And she's also in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh my God. She's in the best scene in that movie where Steve Martin, after he walks through the parking lot and he's like, my fucking car is in the wrong fucking spot. And he says the F word like 30 times right to her face. He's like, what are you going to do? And she's like, you're fucked. But it's only that scene. She's only in that one scene.
That's all she needed to get into her.
Back to school, I think she's only in
four.
that one scene also when she's taking notes.
She's taking notes, yeah.
She was also the neighbor on the girl robot, Vicky.
Was she
Yes,
really? Small
you're right.
Wonder?
Yes.
Small Wonder, yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't remember her on that.
Cool, dude. That's a really good point. I love that show.
Yeah, that was a good show.
That's like
so bad.
That's
man.
like the ultimate grooming show right there.
yeah.
Like,
And that was horrible.
oh
acting.
yeah, that acting was the worst.
Oh, yeah.
That's when Fox was just getting started, and they were just like, any show that's not getting picked up by a network, we are taken. And that was just like all. Those
I believe
other
it had
shows
3 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was going to compare it with like Married with Children, Herman's Head, like all those shows. They were just like, we'll take them all. Networks don't want them.
Herman's
We'll take
Head, though, had some fun
And,
stuff.
I mean,
I
Married
liked
with
Herman's
Children
Head, yeah.
is obviously
11
an all-time
seasons,
classic.
though.
Yeah.
Those last couple of seasons could have been.
Yeah, like all sitcoms that go on more than
Yeah,
like 5
true.
seasons. You're like, ugh, like
Up next was Joe Dante had an uncredited
wow, really?
cameo. He was a busboy, yeah. His top 4, you want to guess any of his top 4? He directed all 4.
Yeah,
Gremlins is in his top 4, yes.
Oh wow, I didn't think I have to like turn my head to Joe Dante. Joe Dante is, dude. I'm not gonna. I'm drawing a complete blank.
Yeah, it's okay. No worries. We got the director of Brian mentioned Gremlins. We also had Inner Space,
Okay.
The Howling, and Small Soldiers.
No. Okay. I don't think I would have guessed any of those.
I have one more
I thought he was like
cameo for you.
I
And
hope
it
it's not-
has something
I hope
to
it's
do
not-
with Twilight Zone, the
I hope it's not
movie.
the same one that I have,
It has to do with Twilight Zone, the movie.
and I hope it's not the same one I have because I don't know if the person that I know is in Twilight Zone the movie. But
This person bumped into Mary at the bank.
I thought he had a stroke.
Wait a second.
Oh,
he
put
didn't
that
even have
together.
a line.
He bumped
Wait,
this
who?
man bumps into Mary at the bank, is uncredited in this movie.
Okay.
Twilight Zone, the movie.
Huh.
John Landis
Oh.
is said person in this cameo
So
role.
Dante and Landis were both in this, like
Yes.
uncredited. I wonder if they were friends with.
I'm guessing
Paul
they might have
Blart.
been friends with Paul Bartle. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I didn't see that at all. Did you see that, Brian? Did
I
you?
saw the bump. I didn't know it was John Landis.
Oh.
He didn't even have a line. He just
Do you,
bumped into
do you want to
him.
know who else is in this movie? And I don't know his real name. I just know what he's from.
You can't come here without the real name.
Oh,
right?
it's much funnier not knowing the real name. His name is like Hamilton something. I looked him up just to
Hamilton
confirm.
something.
But the guy that is going to be the wine buyer when he decides he's going to sell his wine and he takes him to the restaurant.
Yeah.
You know who that guy? And he leaves him there with the check and the maid
He's
drinks
a
all the
character
wine.
actor
Who is it?
too.
Mr. Furley's brother from Three's Company. As soon as
What?
he appeared on screen, I was like, "Oh my god, it's Mr. Furley's brother!" And I remember,
what's Ralph Furley's brother's name? I can't
Bart.
think of it.
He's Bart.
Bart.
And
yeah.
so I'm just like, "Oh my god, it's Mr. Furley's brother." That's cool. That's what I know him from, and that's all good. And then I looked at how many times he played Bart Furley. You doubled it. He played it
Played him
one
once?
time. I was like, that's how much I love Three's Company.
Wow,
I remember
that's-
him. 'Cause
that's
he was such a
sick.
dick on that.
Because he owned the.
He owned it, and Ralph was working for him,
right.
and he was always
Whoa,
talking
that's
about his
good.
brother. But then they had him on there, so he was the guy that
That's
was
really
going to buy
good,
the
man.
wine. And then I don't remember the reason why he didn't buy the wine.
he stole it.
Yeah, but why did he?
Stiffed him on the dinner.
But
and
he
stole
said
it.
like, I got to go. Like he got up, and I don't remember what triggered that. They were eating dinner. Did he say he wasn't
yeah.
going to sell him or something?
No, he
like
said,
that?
let's go downstairs. Didn't he go do
said,
something?
No, he just like, I got to go to the bathroom. But then when he went back to the room, he didn't even steal him because the maid was drinking one of them, right?
No. I guess she left. He left one of them.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, that's right.
Or it
Because he
was-
did what he went
They
back to his
drank
wife
one,
and
right?
said,
Did they drink one? Where?
he probably gave it to the maid so she'd keep her mouth shut.
Yeah. That's not all Ethan made.
Oh my God, was it Arnold?
Bow, chicka,
ugly
bow.
maid.
Then you hear the music change at that.
Oh, and I do have to comment about the music was insane. It sounded. I don't know even.
This
know
was
how
nothing
to say.
compared
It
to
was so inappropriate.
compared to the
weird.
soundtracks that we've had recently during our summer teen sex romp summer, whatever Andy called it.
Teen Sex Romp, yeah.
With
Yeah.
awesome music.
How great was those soundtracks? And then we get this.
This soundtrack definitely did not.
This was a porno soundtrack.
It really was. This was half a porno without any actual sex.
half a
and
porno,
barely any nudity.
and it was a
like-
specific category that you would have to choose if you were out there searching, because this was like a woman not wanting it.
oh,
They were,
Well,
they were
yeah.
obviously forcing themselves upon a woman. I mean,
but she was
They all were.
offering
every single one of
herself
them, yeah.
out there. I mean, she was doing all the fetish things. She had the Nazi guy tying her up, and the one guy was the bad baby, and he was like breaking everything, and she was supposed to be the mom or the babysitter, and
I guess babies.
then the one she had to dress up as like Minnie Mouse or something like that. So she was playing along.
Oh yeah.
That guy, listen, I mean, I don't know like how deep we want to get into this movie, but
Well, I could tell you how
their
they.
plan was terrible. Like they were so casual in murdering people,
Do you wanna
and then barely even trying to get rid of the bodies. They would just have in a pile in the kitchen. Oh, don't mind those bodies there.
How about the sound effect of the frying pan? You know where that came from?
the clunk? No,
They got that by smashing a cantaloupe with a cast iron pan.
I was
used a
cooking with a
cantaloupe.
cast iron pan tonight to make dinner, and I kind of like the first couple before I started cooking, I knocked it against my head a couple times. I'm like, I don't think this would kill me. I really, especially
It's definitely
going to
hurt you, though, right?
One time,
You think it's gonna hurt you, right?
But these guys were dropping dead after one hit from a frying pan. And
Yeah, there
mine's
should have
like a
had to
real-
have been more, right?
Mine's like a real cast iron frying pan, so that's got to be
they had no blood ever.
nothing.
Yeah,
never
never
any
any
blood.
blood.
Even when she stabbed Buck Henry and they threw him out the window, which was probably my favorite scene in the whole movie when he took the bug zapper, and I don't remember what he said. He's like, "Try this on." He just throws it and murders murders 20 people in the hot tub. I was like, this is a little ridiculous.
Like,
but hey,
why did he do that? Like,
because,
what was,
because
They were being mean to
they
him.
were being mean to him, and he'd already spilled his guts to one of the guys. He had told him like, "Oh yeah, I murder people. You know, my wife lures people home, and I murder them. We steal their money and
again,
sell
back to
their
the
parts."
frying pan. One of Mary's quotes was, "At the store, can you buy a new frying pan? I'm a little squeamish about using the one we use to kill people."
I tell you, like their plan was so shoddy and so. They were so cavalier about it. Two of my favorite quotes in the whole movie were,
Oh, I can't wait to hear him.
They were very early
Is
on.
it anything like that when the sex shop customer said, "Have you got the latest issue of Nuns and Nazis?"
I have
And the sex shop
nuns-
salesman said, "No, Tuesday."
I do have Nuns and Nazis in my notes, but she says it when she calls after they hit the first guy. He yells to her, "Call the emergency police number." He yells to her, "Call the emergency police number." You see, she obviously goes like, beep, beep, beep. She dials 3 numbers, but I'm like, it's not call 911. It's called the emergency police number. So someone answers and she says, oh, fuck, where is it? She says, "Hello, officer. Is this the police?" I was like, you said hello, officer. He obviously answered the phone like, "Sergeant McCluskey, precinct 742. Is this the police?" I was like, who's writing this dialogue? It was such shitty dialogue throughout. What's his name? Raoul?
Paul Bartel wrote it.
Raoul, every single, because I had the subtitles on, every single one of his sentences ended with some kind of Spanish slang. Everything else was English, and then it was like Chico, Maricon, everything was like, I don't know, like they were just like, throw it in there every once in a while to remind people that you're like Mexican or something like that. Oh man,
How about
so funny.
Paul and Mary reprised their roles of Paul Bland and Mary Bland for a cameo appearance in Chopping Mall in 1986. So
Okay.
they played the same characters again.
And did he direct that?
And
as
Chopping.
write that
I don't
as
know
well?
if he
That
directed
was
or
one of
wrote
the
it.
movies that I saw that they had. They returned.
What's really sad is I read after that reportedly Paul Bartle had called Mary Warrenoff after he had completed the script for the sequel, Bland Ambition, and had obtained financing for it, but sadly passed away a day later.
Oh, good Lord. That's when he went to the doctor's office and they said, you have liver cancer. And he fucking seized up and collapsed in the doctor's floor.
So it was sudden.
He just dropped dead. Oh, that's why I don't go to doctors, man, because they're going to tell me I have everything, and I'll be like, I can't handle everything.
I mean, we could see you have AIDS and monkeypox from here, but...
I'm definitely dying of something, but the less I know,
AIDS
the better.
is cool now, though, right?
Is it cool?
It's just cool.
I got AIDS. Oh, no,
that's awesome.
Oh, man.
Now, these are just some of the things I found. Let's see. Shooting only took 22 days, but it was shot over the course of a year. So 22 days of shooting over a whole year. That's like...
And they had
it was
to
basically like, do you have a weekend free? Let's go.
They had to have been shooting in California because there were like palm trees all over the place.
Oh, really? I didn't notice that.
When they're at the party house.
The one where they killed Buck Henry and sold all the cars?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you know...
they were outside in the hot tub, and that's not a New York kind of thing to do.
Nah.
But it was a swinger house, so I don't know.
True.
They have like swinger hotels and swinger apartment houses and stuff like that. But
are you saying this out of knowledge that you acquired over the years?
I have friends. Wink, wink.
For unlawful conduct.
So Jason has been to.
Did you know that Paul Rubens was originally approached to play the sex shop salesman?
That would have been good.
He turned it down and recommended the guy, though. That
guy was
got it.
awful. He was the biggest over actor.
And he was the guy that was like one of those guys also. He was like a big time writer. I don't remember anything that he did, but he was like in a ton of shit that he wrote and just one. And he died really young too.
I think every take they must have just been yell it louder. Yell your lines louder.
But that was supposed to be funny because the guys were all asking like, ridiculous shit because he had a great line. He's like, this lube comes in lime, cherry, strawberry, and trail mix. And he's like, trail mix? Really? He's like, no, I made that one up. trail mix lube. Yummy. I would like a trail mix lube.
What do we got here? I have Edie Mcclerg was unaware that the extras behind her at the swingers orgy were nude because her back was turned to them during the filming of that scene.
It was weird. This is like there was no nudity at all. Kind of like Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, where there was no nudity at all until the end, and then
very
there was a
last sequence.
I mean, she got naked a couple times. Mary, whatever her name is,
Warrenoff. Yeah, we saw her nips.
She got, and then she was like totally naked in the hospital when she was standing in front of the X-ray.
Yeah.
But I was going to say X-ray machine, but it was really just the X-ray.
Martin Scorsese said this movie was totally outrageous and funny. Did you know that?
It felt like
Scorsese said that.
It felt like an After Hours kind of. It felt like After Hours might have been
inspiration
in the same kind of neighborhood as this.
Excuse me.
Jason can't keep his pen levitated.
I'll hold on to that.
Bartell probably went to show it to him and hit him in the head with a frying pan.
No, I'm sorry, Brian. You were about to say something. Go ahead.
No, I don't remember.
He says like three things and he can't remember. At the very beginning of this movie, when Paul is still working at his liquor store job, which, listen, I don't want to disparage anybody for their employment, but like he's like a 40-something-year-old guy working at a liquor store as a clerk and being given the authority to order wine, but then getting fired over for the wine. I was like, this does not feel like real life. But at one point, someone buys a bottle of wine, and he says, and this is a subtitle thing. This is not really the context of the movie, but he says, okay, that's $350, and it put up there $300, a dollar sign,
yes.
$350. I'm like $350, and they handed him something. You don't see what it is, and he obviously hands back like $1.50. And I was just like, I guess that was $3.50, not $350, but
he was supposed to be the high end, like,
and it was
right?
weird
like,
because he was such a wine snob and
a snob in general.
He was a snob in general, but
he was
like,
just a prick.
He was
right?
just working. He was just working at like a shitty liquor store. It wasn't like some
He had
kind of
nothing
like,
to be proud of.
No, not at all. And he was living in a shitty apartment.
It's not even like he owned it.
No.
Yeah, it was weird that like he felt so entitled. I don't know what it was about it, except for the fact that he just looked the way he did. But I don't know. That's all I got. Did I go on too long?
A little bit. Nah. Now you're fine, Andy. Please.
And I'm Andy.
And I'm Jason.
All right. So when after the swinger night, and I don't know if it was before or after they killed their first victim.
Really?
They go to bed in matching pajamas, I might add. Matching pajamas in their Desi and Lucy beds.
That was
and she's like kind of like, oh, this sex and blah, blah, blah. She's like, I don't mind a little hugging and kissing, but, and I'm like, what? And then they got in their separate beds with their matching pajamas. I was like,
yeah, that was.
Are these people, like, what's the story with?
But she sure liked it when Raoul gave her the wacky weed.
She got high and then didn't mind it. But
I
just thought that was so funny how, I guess they're just showing how prudish they are. But I mean, if I was I don't know. They killed one person and all of a sudden became so loosey-goosey. I was like, now, just because you've murdered a person doesn't mean you're all of a sudden going to change.
They got that plan real fast, too, right?
They did. Except for the fact that they forgot everything. Oh, I didn't think about the cars. Like, yeah, all of a sudden you're going to murder 10 guys and you're going to be like, the parking in this place is atrocious. These cars never leave. They're lucky, Raoul. Like,
yeah, I guess it wasn't summertime or it wasn't winter time, or else we would have seen a bunch of cars just like
opposite side of the street. Parking is in effect today in New York, and they're just towing all those cars away.
Yeah, I mean, Raoul really cleaned up their messes.
He was the only one smart. He disposed of the bodies. He sold them to the dog food place, and
he was the one that had
the watches
more of
and the cars and all that. I mean, they were so dumb and just so cavalier about it. Like, oh, we'll just get some Johns over here and kill them and steal their money. Like, what? Really?
And they go to the dominatrix for help.
I know. I assume they weren't pointing out the fact that they were going to murder the people. They were just like, hey, we want to get into the sex game too.
Her business card said, discipline, mild or severe, as you require. Call for an appointment.
Do you get that number?
And how did the police?
I'll give it to you off air. I don't want to share it. She didn't pay for advertising, so.
We should drop fake advertisements into our podcast. Doris the Dominatrix, call 555.
And put your phone number and see how many people call.
Now we know how many listeners we have because of all the pervs that are calling me like, is Doris there? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
You'd be like, hello, and be like, hey, it's Kevin.
I was gonna say, I can see your name on the contact list, Jason. I know who the fuck this is.
It's either me, Brian, or Kevin, right?
Or Kevin.
Or Dana.
So now my friend David.
Listen to
David.
us,
Hello,
man.
David.
We are ready to hit double digits.
David,
on
come on. David, welcome. We'd love to have you on.
And every once in a while, our friend Dan will text and say, I just listened to the last 7 podcasts. Here are my notes. And he just has like an entire page of text. Fuck you, Andy, for giving Grease 2 a 60. And I'm like, I gave that a 35 retroactively.
Yeah, Andy did get scolded for that one.
That was
really?
Oh, because that movie's not a 60. It's definitely a 35.
Oh, he wanted
30.
you to do it lower.
Yeah,
he was
like,
mad that Andy gave it a 60.
And I said, listen, that was very intimidating. I was looking
high.
at like 5 women staring me down, just like, oh my God, we love this movie.
And the 99.9, what was it, 99.5?
And the only reason it lost a point was because you saw a dick. Or maybe that's why she gave it a point back.
No, it lost a point for that, but then it got half a point back for something.
I think the dick got a half a point back.
Oh man,
it lost it for that song, the song that Michael sang.
That's right. She does. Hate that one
she
song.
did hate that song. That's right, but she did love all the other songs. Dana's score
unnecessary nudity.
Dana's score does stand
half point back
as the highest score ever on
this podcast.
Well, we don't know about today's.
That is true.
It should be interesting to see if there's a higher score today, but I really don't have anything else to say about this movie.
I want to point out that Buck Henry wanted to make a deposit in Mary's safe deposit box. That was his
Who else wanted to do that? Anybody here wanted to do that?
I would have to Mary.
Yeah, she was okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
When she wasn't looking like a man.
It was the 80s. I mean, come on. It was the 80s. There was a lot of coke.
That didn't bother me.
Some of the things they said, I don't know if it's the dominatrix or what. She was talking about golden showers. She was like, "Oh, I got out of there right before they started doing the golden showers or something like that." I was like, "Nice." I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but I was like, "Hee." They said the thing that's funny. Let's see what else do I have here. Oh, I said they let Raoul into the scam way too quick. Like they just, oh yeah, we kill people and we harvest them
And he was
Yeah,
immediately, can I have their body?
Yeah,
there was no vetting whatsoever. He's
No.
just like, I'm in.
And really, like, as they're killing all these people, why'd they immediately think to kill him?
Yeah.
They really should have, like,
Wouldn't that have been the first thing that would have come
when
to
you're murdering,
you would have thought of?
you're murdering innocent people, and now, like, you got to kill this guy.
I mean, they did kill him.
At the end of the movie, the last thing they killed him when there was no other option.
Yeah.
Here's another thing that
Well, they made it.
Here's
look
another
like,
sad
did
one.
she pick Raoul or did she pick Paul?
I have another sad one for you if you want it. Years after the film became a cult favorite, a sequel was scripted in which a man blackmails the Blands with knowledge of their killings.
Isn't this the one you already told us about?
But Chevy Chase was slated to play this man.
Oh, that's kind of
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
That would have been
Chase would have been in the
Chevy Chase would have been in a Paul Bartle movie.
Yeah, that would have ruined his career.
I think he was on that path already.
Who wants to give a score
He
first?
was just about to start his Today Show or his talk show. Anyway,
I'll give Rotten Tomatoes first.
Anyway, also, one of the advertisements in the magazine is cash for gash.
Oh, I saw that. Yes.
I know I'm missing notes here. I'm definitely missing notes here because at one point,
cash for gas.
someone's in the park or something like that, and he's reading the newspaper, and it says midget search continues or something like that.
I did not see that.
Midget had come to the door with the dog or something like
he
that.
said, look at that, they're already into it, right?
So I assume that's the midget they were searching for. I just thought it was great that the headline said midget search continues. That made me very
That's to move the movie along, right?
At one point they said they were talking about the different things they do, and they said a basket job, and she's like,
"Oh yeah,
what's
it's a basket job?"
And I was like, I don't know, what is a basket job? I want to know what that is.
Did you look it up?
I did not look it up. I was going to go to Urban Dictionary, but I just never.
Should he do it? Should he do it live, or do you want to read Roger Ebert's thing?
And the last thing I have here is the TV that they had in their house was incredible, because she said something about her mom's 50s furniture or something like that, but that TV was like a 30s TV or something like that. Oh my God, it was so terrible. And did you see Raoul's apartment? He had like tons of televisions and like
paintings.
whatever. Just he had a random painting there. That was funny.
Well, he's a thief.
I don't have Roger Ebert's thing. I didn't do that today.
You didn't do
I'm
that,
gonna
but
start
a
doing
basket
that
job
Cut that out.
is a sexual. I didn't even read it, so I.
Oh
don't know
no,
what
I'm
it
saying
is.
cut out the fact that I even brought up Roger Ebert's thing.
I said I don't even know what it is yet, so I'm just reading basket job.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
So, a sexual act originated in the Far East in which a woman is placed naked in a seated position in a wide mesh hanging basket. The basket is lowered so that a man lying under the basket can insert his erect penis into the woman's vagina. The basket is then spun along the axis described by the man's penis, increasing the man's sexual stimulation.
Wow.
A basket job.
Yikes.
That should be the bumper.
Are you using trail mix lube on that? Because my God, that might hurt.
That's the bumper.
You need help. Like, people have to be there to help with that.
Oh yeah, you need
a
assistance.
spotter.
Yeah.
Can we have a spotter for this?
You
place?
definitely need assistance. You got cameras coming in from all four angles. I would think all four.
All right, are you on? Are we inserted? We're gonna spin you. 1, 2, 3. Is it one of those?
Wait! You got to make sure. You got to make sure it's even all the way
Is
around.
it one of those swing set pushing and continue to push? Like,
Do you think they're running along the outside of it and then they just let go?
Friction going. That guy's dick is like.
Or is it like they could spin it like this at the Price is Right wheel? It's like,
That's on his butthole.
Oh, you were doing a gay basket job, huh?
No.
oh, I didn't go that way.
No. You're spinning, but then you use the wheel, the Price is Right wheel, to kind of put his butthole as it's spinning, or her butthole.
Brian said he wanted me to do Rotten Tomatoes first tonight.
Oh, that's because he doesn't know what he wants to score yet, so he wants to hear what the critics say first.
Do you want that first, or do you want to go first?
No, I'll hear the critics review first.
because the critics were absolutely insane, I think, because they gave it an 86%.
Oh my God.
The Rotten Tomatoes audience gave it a 72%, which I think is absolutely insane because the real answer here is 25%. I have it written down right here. 25% because this movie is, I don't understand why or
I knew this was going to be a divisive
Paul
movie.
Bartol's mind, what he was doing. I don't know why this was fun or funny. There was a couple funny lines, I'll give him that, but this was no Dom DeLuise comedy of the 80s.
This would have been much funnier watching it in a crowd, but by myself laying in bed, I just felt sad that this
movie's very
existed.
sad. What's your number?
So
Give me a
do you
number.
give it?
I'm not going to go that low, but I'm going to give it a 39.
Okay. I'm almost disappointed, Jason, that you didn't give this a 30. Because my number was 50, and I really wanted to be exactly 20 points higher than, because I figured I'm either giving this a 50 and Jason gives it a 70 to be a nice guy, or he gives us a 30 and he just outright hated it. I didn't hate this movie. I definitely laughed a couple times, and it is quick. I did fall asleep watching it, but I'd already had a couple drinks, and Michelle and Logan were talking college, and I just kind of passed out, but
I still think it should be docked points for that.
Once I got back into it and rewound to where I had fallen asleep and watched it again, I laughed. I thought it was stupid.
No, I'm not
funny.
saying I didn't laugh or anything like that. You
Listen,
know,
your score's fine. I mean, it was shitty acting, kind of gross looking sets. Just their apartment looked like shit, and there was nothing nice about it. Even the nudity was kind of like, these people.
The budget had to be like almost
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. It was his budget.
It was what he had in his bank account.
That's why it took a year to film.
That's what he had in his bank account.
That's why it took a year to film. He's like, hey, I got nothing going on Saturday. You want to like film a couple hours of my movie?
Call Ed Begley Jr.
He's
He's
nobody.
not doing anything.
He wants to be a hippie rapist. Yeah, fine.
He said, "Hey,
50
guys, you
and,
think you could just put me on as a hippie, just a hippie?"
Like, I will never go out of my way to watch this movie
I would never
again,
watch this
but I
movie
would
again.
watch if a crowd were
Yeah.
watching it.
If we sat down here joking
this-
around, fooling around, laughing, and everything, that would be funny.
doing a little grab ass, and this is not a movie that I've ever seen by accident on like HBO or TNT or anything like that. But if it was, like, if I was,
Could you imagine this on
Eating
TNT
Raoul,
though?
like,
It would be 60 minutes. It would only be 1 hour
it would
long.
be 3 hours long, but 2 of those hours would be commercials. Every scene to be like 4 minutes of commercials. I'm like, fuck with these commercials. But yeah, I'd probably stop on it again, and like that scene at when they stabbed Buck Henry and they murdered all those people
the swinger party.
and the hot tub man.
That might be a saving grace that gave it to 25.
Giggling a lot about that. I was like, that is crazy. He just fucking killed a bunch of
bug
people.
zapper.
Like
Buck
oh my
Henry
God.
might save this movie. That's what gives it to 25.
Buck Henry,
honestly, you know.
And then I kind of thought fuck.
But in the end, they got away scot-free.
And also, I wanted to bring this up when we started this podcast. Now we're going to do it at the end. Eating Raoul? Why? Like, why wasn't it like,
it was even unnecessary in the movie.
like all of a sudden they're like, I thought they thought that was going to be like a super twist. Like, now we're eating everybody. I'm like, if you had started with eating people, like there's that Roald Dahl book, not Silence of the Lambs, Land of the Slaughter, where she feeds the police officers investigating her husband's death the lamb that she killed her husband with, the frozen lamb. So I kind of thought they were going that way, like somehow they were eating the people to cover up all their murders, but they weren't eating nobody.
No,
so then at the very end, they ate him. They fed him to that guy James. But I'm like, does that need to be the title of this movie? Because
it definitely is misleading.
Yeah,
the title, right?
Like, I really was like kind of, because I saw this movie 40 years ago, but like 37 years ago with my mom on video.
I can't believe that.
And
that's just crazy, right? I couldn't watch this with my mom even now.
In my brain, there was a lot more cannibalism in this movie.
He's watching this at 15 with his mom.
I think it's after my mom also rented me the Duran Duran Girls on Film video, and I was like, "Don't come in here, Mom! Don't come in here!"
And when they were
Simon Le Bon's naked.
when they were eating ravioli, it looked like they were eating ravioli.
Yeah.
It did look good.
How do you all of a sudden know how to prepare a human?
It looked good.
I could kill it. I could
Yeah, it's
cook,
not-
I could
they didn't
cook
have
a steak.
Google.
I could cook a steak, but if you drop a cow off on my front lawn, I'm not going to know how to cut that thing up to get a steak out of it. I'll just be like,
I'll just take the butcher's word for it.
do you just chop like a piece out of it, or like how did they get those bones in it? I'm like, my meat doesn't have any bones.
You want to tell everybody? You want to tell everybody what's going on next week?
The Wall.
Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Yeah.
With special guest Carrie.
Yeah, we'll finally
Carrie,
have
yeah, Carrie is great.
Your entire family will have been on this
It'll
podcast.
be finally the
I've had none of my family on.
the
Oh,
final
my
album.
wife, my wife.
Michelle's been on. Yeah.
What the hell's that?
I just went on Instagram and somebody sent me that.
Oh, I thought that was Kevin. I was going to be like, I don't want that guy on the podcast. I was a cat guy. I fucking hate cat guys.
I'm a cat guy.
I know.
I think that's why he said I hate cat guys. Let me see if I can get you guys in the picture here.
Hang on.
Jeez.
There we go. That's a live one right there, guys. All right.
Are you posting that to our Instagram?
I will put that out there if you guys approve it after. Yeah, I'll make sure you guys approve it.
I approve it.
How fat do I look? I sucked it in as much as I could, which nowadays isn't even sucking it in. It's just
But
a big mess.
okay, so we're going to be doing Pink Floyd The Wall, and we hope that
And we'll
you
probably be talking about the Rings of Power, so watch that too.
that'll be on our
mini.
mini next week. Yes, so be aware, listen to us, and subscribe everywhere, because this has been the Exciting and New Podcast. We can be found on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, on
Dasher, on Dancer,
Twitter,
on Prancer,
on Instagram,
Vixen.
on Tinder, on Grindr, wherever you want to go.
If you haven't,
we're
found-
out there.
If you're listening
It's
to
the
this,
Exciting
you
and
know
New
how you got
Podcast.
to it.
Yeah.
You're like, how the hell did I stumble upon these guys?
If you wanna
And I'm
find-
Andy, he got
If you want to
one.
find me, it's the Jazoo
Oh,
at
sorry.
Instagram.
Stumped all over.
Jazoo74 at Twitter. I'm Jason.
Whatever I just said. Who am I? I'm Brian.
Way out of line again. You know.
I'm Brian.
Oh,
If he wants to
shit.
go first, he can go
I've
first.
been
I never
doing
said I wanted to
edibles
go
and
first.
drinking.
You know.
Bourbon and edibles do not mix.